Okay, so a lot of people are talking about, is it Helly versus Helena? But my question is, who is Irving?
I don't think his outie is who came back.
No, I think his innie came back, but I think his outie was there at the end.
Oh, that's really good.
Hey guys, welcome to The Severed Floor, a mysterious and important podcast that deals with the uncertainty of the show Severance in the way that Kier would have wanted, together as a family. I'm Kelly G, rope technician, Grimaldi Branch.
I'm Jazzy S, CEO of Baby Goats.
That's a great title to have, man.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
I'm jealous.
I worked hard for those baby goats.
Yeah, I just have to I have to make sure. Rope technician sounds like I'm actually fixing problems with the rope, but I'm actually just catching the employees as they fall when they transition. So, Dario's kicked me in the head a few times by accident. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, it's been quite a while in between seasons.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah. I have the privilege of not really having to wait nearly as long. Because I just started watching it like a few months ago or something.
Mark S screaming, "She's alive!" has haunted me for literally 3 years. I think about it before I go to bed. I think about it in the shower. Like I can hear it all the time. I'm like, I need resolution.
That's so funny. Well, if you're not familiar with us, we are Cyborg Queen Media and the Severed Floor podcast. If you're listening to this, you can find our YouTube channel at Cyborg Queen Media on YouTube, and you can find all of our TV coverage there. We always put the first episode of every new show, the first 1 or 2 episodes of every new show that we cover onto all of our podcasts. So if you're checking this out on the Antler Queens podcast or our From Series podcast, you will be able to find all of our Severance episodes at the Severed Floor podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like to just have, if you prefer listening to the audio version in your car or whatever, you can find us at the Severed Floor podcast. That's SVRD and SVR apostrophe D floor. And we are wherever you can find podcasts. If we're not on Apple yet, since this is the first episode, just hang tight because it usually takes a little bit for it to update on Apple for that first episode. But we're really excited to cover this show.
I've been hype about this.
Yes. Jazzy, do you have a favorite character?
Do I have a character who's not my favorite? Is an easier question. Fuck. I love them all so much. It's like gun to my head. If I have to pick, I think it's going to be Dylan G.
Yeah.
But that's so hard. That's like picking a child. Like, yeah, I have a favorite child. I love them all. I love Miss Cobel. I love Milchick. I love Irving so much. And Bert. I love them all.
I'm obsessed with Irving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irving's my favorite character, hands down. Like I'm
normally not the biggest fan of the main characters of the show, but I love Mark and Helly. I stand Mark and Helly.
Yeah.
I'm not super thrilled with Helly right now, but
Yeah, we can definitely get into our thoughts on that. Now, for those of you who are familiar with us, we're changing up our format a little bit. So make sure you pay attention to this part. For everyone else, obviously, this is going to be new to you. Everything's new to you, so there's no big change here. But basically, what we're going to do is go through a quick recap of the show. I mean, it's going to be a detailed recap, but we're not going to add our commentary or anything. We're just going to read it straight through. And we'll put some pictures up there to, make it a little more visually interesting for our YouTube watchers. But after the recap, then we'll get into our commentary on the show and our theories and everything on the episode. And we will have the timestamps in the episode description and on the timeline. So, if you want to skip the recap and just go right to our commentary, then you'll be able to do that. It'll be perfectly easy. If you're listening to this on Spotify, then, or, whatever audio podcast app you choose to listen to, then I apologize. You'll just have to you'll have to do a little searching for it if you want to skip the recap, but we'll try not to take too long with it. But Jazzy, do you want to get started with the with the recap? I actually did have the wait, no, do I have the episode synopsis? Yes. I do have the episode synopsis. Also, actually, before we okay, I lied. I don't have the episode synopsis. I am so sorry.
I think it's okay.
But I do want to tell you guys, because I haven't seen this a lot of places. We've got some new episode titles. Episode 2. So we've got episode 2 is going to be called Goodbye, Mrs. Selvig. So that's obviously going to be all outie stuff. Episode 3 is titled Who is Alive? Episode 4 is called Woe's Hollow. Episode 5 is called Trojan's Horse. And episode 6 is called Attila. Very interesting. We don't have the titles for 7 through 10 yet.
I heard that people who got screeners, they only got the first 6 episodes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that's all they're ready to share with
yeah. Possibly. All right. Yeah. Let's just jump right into the recap.
Woo! Okay. We open in darkness. I for real thought my TV was not working.
Yeah.
But, we open in with the echoes of panicked innies pleading, the panicked pleas of innies, Mark S., Helly R., and Irving B. in their final moments outside of Lumon during MDR's OTP rebellion. The elevator dings, and Mark is looking around. He's scanning the place like he's on a mission. The doors slide open, and he is greeted with the sight of the floor's foyer, and it is empty. Backroom-esque glory. Mark steps out, and you can see the gears turning in his head. The clock on the wall shows 5. Mark doesn't just walk, he bolts down the corridor. White walls and doors blur past him, and he is not just running blind. He has got a destination in mind. Tark. He runs like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible as he passes by the glass-walled rooms, and inside is nothing but empty desks and very sad carpet. Disappointing carpet.
Yes.
Then he skids to a halt in front of a door with a faint imprint of the word wellness on the wall next to it. You can almost feel the anticipation as he opens it, stepping into what used to be the wellness center waiting room. But now it's just a place that has been gutted. All the plants are gone. The walls are bare. It's like someone hit the reset button. While Mark is taking all this in, there is an invisible dude creeping around behind him, lurking in the hallway. And before Mark can even notice, the guy vanishes, leaving Mark alone with his thoughts. Mark heads straight to the macro data refinement room. He gets to his desk, and what does he find? But three total strangers already there. They know his name, but he has no clue who they are. One guy, decked out in suspenders and a bow tie, and perfectly cast Bob Balaban, introduces himself as Mark W. Another student is chatting away in Italian with a woman in business attire. Then in walks Mr. Milchick. He is carrying balloons, each one printed with Mark's face. He's dressed pretty differently than we've seen him in the past, too, in a suit coat and a very flattering blue turtleneck. Looking good, Milchick.
Yep.
He greets Mark with a smile and comments on his return as like it's an exciting homecoming for this recaptured prisoner. Mark follows Milchick to the management office. He's got questions. Mark's got questions specifically about his team, but Milchick dodges them like a pro, talking about their big OTP rebellion like it's ancient history. They get to the office, and there is a new deputy manager, Miss Wong, sitting in Milchick's old desk. She looks like she's barely out of grade school. Mark hands his balloon. That is, yeah. Sorry, not to start doing commentary, but that terrified me.
Yeah.
Mark hands the balloons over, and he's trying to wrap his head around this kid being in charge of basically having Milchick's old job. The office isn't the same either. It's got boxes and shrink-wrapped furniture. The artwork's been swapped out. There's even a bonsai tree sitting in the corner. Looks like they're trying to make the place look a lot more zen. Mark points out that Miss Wong is literally a child, but Milchick does not acknowledge that. Instead, he drops the bomb that Miss Cobel is out, and now he is running the show. Mark presses about his team, but Milchick finally gives him something. None of them are fired, but they all chose not to come back. And their little rebellion made headlines. They are now famous or infamous for sparking severance reform. Milchick hands Mark a redacted issue of the Kier Chronicle, showing them in a parade or some kind of shows. Milchick goes on about how their actions forced Lumon to completely overhaul the workplace culture and structure. It's like they've turned the company upside down. Milchick lays it out for Mark, saying that despite the changes at Lumon, Mark's outtie was the only one who came back. He wants to hear from his team, but Milchick shuts him down. Milchick shuts down the conversation with a dismissive "enjoy your balloons," like he's sending Mark off to a birthday party. And I'm gonna make one tiny comment here. This being where the teaser ended, or that they put out, the 8 minutes that they put out,
Yes.
and him like ending on that smile is like, what a perfect double entendre of like him being like "F you, Mark," and them being like "F you, audience."
Yeah.
Like, so teasing.
I love it.
Yeah. Mark is back at his desk, and the new team members are all over him with questions about the outside world. He's apparently a very big deal in the any world. Oh my god. Sorry, it's completely like my thing just shot down. He goes to open the supply closet, expecting the usual walk-in space, but nope, now it's just shelves and drawers. They have downsized everything. Mrs. Wong, the kid who is now the deputy manager, enters with a familiar red ball. She invites everyone to a team-building activity in the kitchenette. She introduces herself, saying this is her first day, and that she used to be a crossing guard. Mark W. reminisces about the good old days with Gwendolyn Y. in some closed-down branch. Mark tries to keep it light, saying that he's made 4 new friends today, but Miss Huang is quick to correct him. I'm your supervisor, not your friend. As the day winds down and Mark is the last one out, he's shutting down the workstation and turning off the lights, and stepping back into the elevator. It dings twice, and wouldn't you know it, the door opens right back up and he's back on the severed floor, ready to start all over again. In the MDR office, the new refiners talk about their previous branches. Mark W. and Gwendolyn Y. are going on about how their branch had animatronic Egans in the perpetuity wing, which makes us worry about what Chuck E. Cheese looks like in the Egan world. Yeah. Dario R. describes his first branch where they used brooms and plates to represent the Egans and a rope instead of an elevator. While all of this is going on, Mark is scribbling some secret squirrel business on a piece of blue paper. The day winds down, and it's just Mark left in the office. Just the Marks left in the office. Mark folds a note that he's been writing into a tiny square, and he says goodbye. And while grabbing his coat, he slips the note into Mark W.'s coat pocket. Mark steps back in the elevator, and the doors close. And as typical, they open right back up again to the severed floor. He walks back to the office, and there's Milchick holding the blue note, like he is about to rub it in Mark's face. Let me grab that because you're going to take over here.
Yep. And we are going to take a quick little break here for the audio podcast. If you're listening to this, expect a commercial right about now. And we're back. So Mark comes in to see Mr. Milchick holding the blue note like he's about to rub Mark's face in it and tell him he's a bad refiner. He reads it aloud, exposing Mark S.'s little scheme to frame Mark W. as trying to get a message to his outie, referring to Milchick as a shambolic rube who goes by Milkshake. Mark S. tries to deny it at first, but he's caught red-handed. He admits it, venting his frustration, wanting to reach out to his old team. Milchick isn't having any of it. He strips Mark of his department chief status and hands it over to Mark W., who's all too eager to take it. By the way, Mark W. also wanted Mark S. to change his name. Just wanted to add that in. Anyway, Mark S. doesn't go down without a fight. He pulls a brilliant move and starts giggling, taunting Mr. Milchick about messing with the kitchenette, creating a distraction. Everyone leaves to check it out, and Mark bolts down the corridor to the management office. He bypasses Miss Wong, who's at her desk, and starts rummaging through the credenza behind Mr. Milchick's desk. He finds the speaker that connects to the board, plugs it in, and just as Miss Wong radios Mr. Milchick, Mark's trying to get through to the board. He's identifying himself, asking about his old team, questioning their commitment to severance reform, and demanding answers. Before Milchick can stop him, Mark makes a last-ditch plea. You can't just make them disappear, please. But Mr. Milchick is right there. He disconnects the speaker and shuts down Mark's attempt to communicate. Milchick grabs Mark and escorts him to the elevator, simply saying, "On you go." Mark tries unsuccessfully to keep the doors open, but they close, the elevator dings, and then we see Mark in a different suit and tie, stepping out into a foyer that's had a makeover, with a painting of Kier pardoning his betrayers where the clock used to be. Mark is a little puzzled. The elevator dings again, and out comes Dylan. Yay! Mark starts filling him in on the latest office drama. Cobel's out, new refiners in, and Milchick's got a new gig. Then the elevator dings again, and Irving is shouting, "Bert!" like a good Christopher Walken fanboy, pounding on the doors. When they open, Irving stumbles out, looking a little bit rough, and heads down the corridor. Dylan's on his tail, and Mark's bringing up the rear, keeping an eye on the elevator, waiting for, ding, here comes Helly. Mark, ever the gentleman, checks if she's okay, and they all head toward the office. In the MDR office, Irving's locked himself in the bathroom, probably trying to process all of this. Mark's trying to get everyone up to speed, wondering why they're not in hot water. Irving finally comes out just as Miss Wong shows up to herd them into the break room where Milchick is waiting. The break room has had a major glow up. Now it's all bright lights, motivational posters, and a projector. Milchick's there, all smiles, ready to show them a new orientation video. It's like a corporate version of a children's show with the Lumon building itself narrating and claymation reenactments of their little rebellion dubbed the Macrodat Uprising. The video is all about how their actions led to company reforms, like hall passes, better vending machine options, and a room where you can bob for pineapples. It's like they're trying to make office life sound like a carnival, which is not a good sign. After the video, Milchick, with all the charm of a used car salesman, tells the group they've got until the end of the day to decide if they want to stick around at Lumon. And he's all, no cameras, no mics, just you guys. Then he and Miss Wong leave them to hash it out. Mark starts spilling beans about his Audie's life, mentioning his brother-in-law is Rick and Hale and his deceased wife is Miss Casey. Helly's got a story too, but it's about as believable as a promise from Trump. She talks about waking up in an apartment, watching some nature show, wearing a Save the Gorillas t-shirt, and meeting some guy who might be a gardener. When it's his turn to share, Irving's like, nope, not today, and he bolts from the break room. Dylan, being the good friend, chases after him. Back in the office, Helly's all in, ready to help Mark find Miss Casey, saying she's one of us. Meanwhile, Dylan catches up with Irving by the stairwell, where Irving's about to make a run for it. He's found Bert on the outside, but the guy's married, and Irving's not handling it well. He wants out, but Dylan's not letting him go that easy. Irving, in a moment of vulnerability, hugs Dylan and whispers something about his Audie's mysterious black paintings. Dylan, not one to let a friend down, locks the door again, urging Irving to stay because, as Irving says, he's Dylan's favorite perk. But before Irving can decide, Ms. Wong shows up saying Mr. Milchick needs Dylan. In the management office, Mr. Milchick's on the phone complaining about his computer still showing Ms. Cobel's name. Dylan walks in, and without even asking, Mr. Milchick drops that his wife's name is Gretchen. Then, like he's revealing the secret to eternal life, he opens a hidden door leading Dylan to a room with blueprints for some new renovation. He unrolls one labeled Audie Family Visitation Suite, hinting that innies might get to meet their Audie's family. Dylan's like, really? But Mr. Milchick's all, maybe, but keep it under wraps unless you want your teammates to gut you like in the Uprising paintings. As Dylan leaves, Miss Wong's playing a creepy Kier game, and Milchick, after closing his door, sits down, clearly annoyed, as the screen keeps saying, hello, Ms. Cobel. He shuts it off in frustration. Back in the MDR office, Mark's back at his desk. Helly's figuring out how to turn on her computer, and Dylan returns alone. Mark's like, where's Irving? And before Dylan can answer, Irving walks in, says right here. They all get back to work. Mark dives into a file called Cold Harbor, sorting numbers, and as he does, the percentage on his screen updates. But there's another screen mirroring his data, showing Miss Casey's image with all sorts of medical-looking stuff. Very interesting.
It took me so many tries to get the screenshot. And then when I could finally read it, I was like, oh my God.
Now, I find it interesting that not only that her face popped up like that, but also that it's like she looks different.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got her hair back and she's wearing a headband. You can't really tell what kind of clothes she's wearing. She's wearing a collared shirt, but she always had that like that sweater or whatever with the collar on it. But yeah, she definitely looks a little bit different. So let's just go ahead and start right there.
Yeah. Leave that up.
What's your theory on Miss Casey and Gemma? Do you think that she's actually Gemma? Do you think that Gemma is dead and she's a clone? Like, what's your take?
I don't know. I think Miss Casey. I think Gemma's alive. I think that. I feel like both Gemma and Mark are really important to Lumon, or
Yeah.
have something special that Lumon is trying to investigate. My thought is that her death was probably staged, and they just have her like in a permanent state of stasis. And I mean, obviously, the whatever they're refining, whatever the data they're working with, has something to do with the way she's being kept. Like, well, like, just because the boxes on the bottom of the screen are that's their macrodata boxes. But yeah, I also think potentially they're cloning Miss Casey, or that there are clones of. I don't even. I've had such a hard time with the characters who have two names. I do think there are clones of Gemma, but I think that Miss Casey might actually be Gemma, while there are still clones of her.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think that kid is a clone of Gemma.
I can't keep I keep going back and forth on the is Gemma dead or not thing. I mean, obviously, like, it's obvious to me that Cobel / Selvig is behind that whole thing.
Yeah.
She brought Miss Casey in,
and
she was whatever they finished, whatever quota they got to or whatever, I think had something to do with Miss Casey, and that's why she was let go.
Ooh.
I think maybe they were done, like, finishing something having to do with her, or
Mark W makes the comment that his team never made quota. Did you catch that in the episode? That is, I wonder.
Now,
I wonder what that means.
Now, we are gonna be recording an episode later in the week. We're gonna be doing a deep dive into Lumon. We're gonna talk about the Lexington letter, as well as the MDR employee orientation guide, which is enclosed in the Lexington letter. And there's gonna be some discussion about like the percentages and stuff that happens. Did you by any chance get a chance to watch that video?
Not yet. I started it, but I couldn't finish it.
Well, some really interesting stuff happens with when they finish a file in the Lexington letter. Bad shit happens. But we're gonna do a deep dive on that later in the episode.
It's literally the first thing I'm gonna do when we finish this tonight.
Let's so okay, what about the time frame? I mean, I don't think it's actually been 5 months.
I don't think it's been 5 months either. Man, whatever's going on is some real effery, because where's the newspaper? Literally everything's redacted.
Yeah.
Even the byline is redacted.
Yeah.
Like, if it had been 5 months, why wouldn't they just leave it? Like,
yeah. I mean, that whole thing.
I definitely don't believe it's been 5 months.
What's interesting though is that it's all that stuff is redacted, but it's a fake paper.
Yeah.
Like, why would they produce this fake paper for them and then
redact a bunch of information?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the reason Lumon does a lot of things.
There's some interesting stuff in there. There's a note about the Baird Creek Bandit, which seems obvious that is, Mrs. Selvig / Miss Cobel. And so it's like them trying to brand her as, trying to out her activities.
Yeah.
And well, not outing her completely. There's also
Making her.
something. There's also a thing in there about author Rick and Hale and his book about the 9 virtues and like how I let Kier in, which is obviously fake.
Yeah.
But the picture that I can't remember what that picture is from of the car. But
The
it's
picture
from
looks so fake.
yeah, it's
I
from
couldn't tell if
like
that.
I think there was a president in that car.
Ah.
Some people were suggesting that it might be Kennedy from like when he was
Yeah.
assassinated, but I don't think that's it. I think it's from something else, some other like presidential visitation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like trying to decide if it was like a production issue or if it was a clue. I was like, that's not a real picture. But I like,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard for me not to look at how the sausage is made. And I'm like, was that just like the art department in a rush? Or is that a clue?
Yeah, definitely.
I have to do that with From all the time because people are like, look at this scene where the tree branches this way, but this scene the tree branches the other way. It's timelines. And I'm like, no, dude, that's like a very shorthanded art department and reshoots.
Yeah.
Like, not
Okay.
everything is a clue.
Not to get on a tangent. Oh, my camera is moving on its own. Sorry. Not to get on a tangent about From, since this is a Severance podcast. But I remember one of my favorite, like, okay, now you're reaching moments was somebody posting a photo of the pool, and they're like, you could see where like the paint was peeling in it or whatever.
Mhm.
And or the stone was chipped or whatever. And they circled an area because it looked like it spelled cat.
Oh my god.
And like it's just, it's just like trying to make things out of clouds, trying to find objects in clouds. It's just, it could probably say anything if you wanted to read it a certain way.
I'm so excited for audiences to pick apart every frame of the show the way they've done From.
My God, I know.
It's gonna be a hoot.
So what do you think about the new the new temporary refiners that they brought
Yes.
in?
Okay. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
I love Aaliyah Shawkat. I'm so excited to see her in this. She is one of my favorite actresses and just human beings in general. She's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And I loved her like questioning Mark about the outside world and just like, what does wind feel like? Is it just someone blowing on you? Like, so funny. Such a great scene. But where did they go?
Yeah.
Like, I really just assumed they'd put another that micro data refinement room is enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they just put another clump of desks in there? Like,
Yeah.
what did they do to those people? I'm worried about them. Not Mark so much, but I was also really intrigued by how apparently what was the Italian guy's name? Domingo?
Dario. Yes.
Like, why was Dario from like a poor version? Like, he's talking about how they had I took a picture of his version of Mark's face statue.
Oh yeah.
It's like carved out of like really poorly carved out of wood.
Yes.
Just
That's
really
hilarious.
strange looking. Whoops. Like, why are some lumens like really nice and have like animatronic dolls and some are like incredibly poor? It's really strange.
Yeah, there was some speculation online about like maybe Dario is actually like extremely old
Ooh.
and like he's somebody whose body has been repurposed.
That's
Um
interesting.
and that and that like he had a rope and brooms and plates for Egan's because like he
Can you
was
imagine climbing down a rope to work and you're just like, whoa. You wake up climbing down a rope does not seem safe.
yeah. But their employee numbers are very low compared to the others. So people were suggesting that maybe that's because they're like they're bodies that have been repurposed.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, like I don't know what to think of it because it just seems so weird that they would bring them in for a day.
I mean, they'd have to know that Mark wouldn't be down to just work with a new team.
Yeah.
And then my biggest thing from that is the end of that whole section where he puts Mark on the elevator and says goodbye. Like, and I'm like he says goodbye, Mark S. And I'm like, oh shit, he's like never coming back, right? Like the way he said it is so sinister.
I know.
And then he just comes back and everyone's back. Are they in a different, are they on a different, they're not on a different floor? Like the floor's just been updated overnight or? There's so many questions.
I mean, there could be we don't know how long he had been gone before they like put
Yeah.
that painting up and they could have been moved to an entirely different branch for all we know.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll know more obviously next week because
Yeah.
we'll get the Audi episode. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot we don't know. Now let's talk about Helly.
Yeah.
So, what are you, team Helly or Helena? As far as who's back,
I think it's Helly. I still think it's Helly. Although when I was rewatching it to get the screenshots, I had a moment where that kind of changed my mind because when she first comes off the elevator and hugs Mark, she's like
yeah,
real weird, right? Like her body goes all stiff.
yes,
but like it could be Helena, and I originally didn't think it could be her because I was like, how would she know enough to like play to be Helly, like enough of what's going on? But then they were recorded the whole time. There's no reason, like, especially if it was 5 months or whatever, there's no reason she couldn't have sat and watched the entire time Helly was working. And
yeah, for sure.
I think it's Helly, but I would not be surprised if I were wrong.
Why do you think that she gave that story about watching
what happened where she woke up? I don't think that's a part of the reason why I also think of that it as her is because I don't know, like how, like the shock she felt discovering what happened and discovering who she was. Like, I don't know how she would be able to tell all of those people that she cares about that, like, she's responsible for this.
Yeah,
Like, it's not her, but it's her. It's her company, and yeah, like, what a shitty position to be in. Like, yeah. And she's had no time to process it. Like, it happened, she got tackled, and then if that's her, she woke up, in the elevator a few minutes later. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been thinking about that since the episode dropped. If I were in her position, would I tell? And I want to say that I would, but like, it would be so hard. It would be so hard.
Yeah, it would be, because how would they trust her, you know?
Exactly.
It would be so
Even though
natural
it's
to not
like,
trust her.
yeah, you would, yeah, because it's her. She's like holding them captive.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
exactly.
sucks. That's
Um,
a sucky position to be in.
yeah, yeah, and she's the one, like, most responsible for all of it, because
Hmm.
the big deal was she went in there to, like, prove to the world that Severance is great. Um,
Exactly.
so anything bad that happens is covered up because of that. Um, but, okay, I'm also team Helly. I was
Yeah.
team, like, I the second that I saw the trailer and I saw her in it, I was immediately team Helena. I'm like, I bet you it's
Uh-huh.
Helena that's back at the office. And that's what I thought initially, because because of how she reacted getting off the elevator,
Hmm.
and also because of the weird story, and then she, like, struggled turning on her computer. Um but like, she didn't find the switch right away.
Hmm.
Um but I now think it's Helly. I'm on team Helly now, because when she was giving the story about, when Irving questioned her about her story, and he's like a gardener at night, um,
Hmm.
she didn't really have much of a reaction to that, to him. Like, she didn't get nervous about him questioning her or anything. And Irving was out. I don't know if this was a calculated move on his part to
Hmm.
say a gardener at night, or if it was just coincidental, because Irving was outside. So he saw that it's winter. He saw that it's cold,
Hmm.
and, there's snow,
Yeah.
um and Helly was not outside. Helly has no idea what the outside climate was like. She was totally inside.
Interesting. Uh,
Um and I think
yeah.
it's weirder for her to run into a gardener in the wintertime
Absolutely.
than at
At
night.
night?
Yeah.
What is he gardening?
But so Helena would know not to make up that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Helena would not. I don't think that Helena would say she ran into a gardener in the wintertime.
At
Um,
night. Yeah.
but I
I think
think,
you're right.
yeah, but I think Helly would. But the thing is, I could totally understand her not wanting to say what really happened. Um, for the reasons that we just said. But I think that she may be sincere. And here's why. I think that she either had her memory wiped or replaced.
Hmm.
And you know how I think that she may have been in Milchick's office, and, like, someone might have been tending to the bonsai tree, and maybe that's why she has that memory.
Ooh.
Um
Ooh.
so I think she has a false memory.
I
I don't
believe
think
that.
she actually remembers being Helena. And you have to wonder, like, why they would want her to know that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think.
Absolutely.
But the bigger question that I have, though, is why would Helena keep doing this knowing that she almost died?
Yeah, that is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't get that. And like why she would think that the answer like her any is so she's tried so many things. Like she has to be getting reports on what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like she has to know what's happening with her any day to day. Like how could she possibly think the correct response is to be like, you're not a person, do what I
Yeah.
say? Like she knows she wouldn't take that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe Helena is too spoiled and like inward thinking to even consider another version of herself. But
And there's also like, I'm also questioning that whole thing, her video.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the first season back, and there are some things that don't add up to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was so cold in that video.
Mm-hmm.
But she, like, when she was about to get the procedure, she was like, she apologized to Milchick in advance if she like freaks out on him. And then when he was like kind of after the procedure, when he took her to the staircase,
Uh-huh.
and she was trying to get out, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm trying to get out." Like, she seemed really concerned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like concerned from from like a not a worry like, "Oh, this isn't going to work out," but like a, "Oh, I might be putting myself through some bad stuff here."
Yeah.
Um so that doesn't entirely add up to me. I think that I think Helena might actually be a little different from the way she's presented to us. But
I could see that.
my bigger question is whether or not that's Helly or Helena, and obviously we both think it's Helly. I think that we had, obviously we had any Irving for most of the episode, but at the very end, I think it might have been Outie Irv that walked in the MDR room, because he obviously knows a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
His Innie and Outie have like somehow their knowledge has crossed paths.
Yeah.
And if he was suspicious of Helly, he obviously was. The only one he trusted was Dylan. Like, he didn't tell the others where what he saw,
Yeah.
He only told Dylan, and he told him like whispering it in his ear.
Interesting.
So if they were going to let him leave, they told them they could leave if they wanted to. Now, we saw that when Helly tried to leave out the door, she came right back.
Yep.
And they're telling Irving he can just go. So I could see Irving getting it in his mind that, okay, well, if I can go, if they're making that possible for me to go, then how is that possible without my Outie being able to come in? So I think it's possible that he could have gone out that door and just like, I don't know, maybe he just had to lean a certain way or something and then come back in as his Outie. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I just from stuff that we saw in the trailer and stuff, I don't know. That's my hot take. That's my hot take. And if I'm right about that, I'm gonna freak out, because I've been a little too on with some of my theories lately. I might have to look into
You and I were just saying that. I was like, Kelly is always telling me the wildest theories, and they're fucking right. And I'm like, damn.
Now we did see from the trailer that Bert is going to be in the season. So I'm wondering what the deal is with that. I mean, he was obviously forced into retirement.
Yeah.
But I just, God, I have so many questions. We
I'm
also
so
saw
excited for Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna have a big part from what I saw.
I doubt it. She never does. They always like hype up her being cast in something, and then she's in like 40 seconds of an episode.
Merritt Weaver is also gonna be in the
Yes.
season. I love Merritt Weaver.
Loves me some Merritt Weaver.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what kind of character she's gonna play. Now, do you think that any of do you think like that Mark's sister or Rickon, do you think like Devin or Rickon or anybody could possibly be in danger?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. Especially like I think that Devin is going to get more involved with like investigating, like she was, it happened started happening in the first season of her, like I see her like getting involved on the legal side of the anti-severance movement,
Yeah.
and maybe like befalling some upset corporate thugs or something. But I do worry about them because I feel like they are going to be major players. They are important to the Audi story.
Yeah. I could see that. I also think I have this wild theory that I keep bringing up to you, obviously, that I
Yeah.
think that someone is going to show up as Ambrose Egan,
Yeah.
who Irving mentioned to the refiners was the black sheep of the Egan family.
Hmm.
And I keep thinking that because it sounds like he could possibly be a foil, and if they're repurposing bodies to like create an infinite consciousness,
Hmm.
then I mean, like someone could be Kier for all we know,
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think that. Sorry, I don't want to.
oh no, that's okay. So I kind of I feel like that was brought up for a reason. I think somebody's going to
Hmm.
pop up as Ambrose, and I have a feeling that it could be either Rickon or it could even possibly be Irving.
Ooh, that's like I was gonna say why I thought Rickon was a good choice, but Irving is a great choice because he loves the Egan stuff.
Yeah,
Like he's so like, who is into their like boss's family like that? Like he loves talking about the Egans. He loves the nine core principles. He loves all the like Lumen bullshit. Like he's into it.
yeah,
He doesn't like get radicalized until they like take his boyfriend away.
yeah,
Um, but I think that Rickon is a great choice for a secret Egan, and um, one of the reasons is the way that he taught. Like it was the scene in the first season where he was like, I sound like a sad old hamburger waiter," and like he sounds like someone who grew up rich and is like trying to figure out how to sound normal. Like
yeah.
still, yeah, that's the vibes he gives me.
I also like his past with the company is very mysterious,
Mm-hmm.
and he obviously is like he knows a lot. He's obviously keeping tabs on stuff. I think that he might be painting the training floor because
Yeah.
he either worked there, um, or perhaps maybe he or Bert like was there and got reset there or something.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's such a good speculation. I never thought about Irving.
yeah, he also just I mean, he's just the way he presents himself and talks is just so like it's so old fashioned and
Hmm.
Egan-esque.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Let me ask you something.
yeah.
Why is Kier Egan always flying? Why is he always flying in like Santa? I don't know, not like Santa, because like Superman.
I don't know.
So
I don't know,
bizarre.
man. Um, but I think it's interesting though that like because I was thinking about that and then I was thinking about the art in the management office because Miss Cobel had like a big picture of clouds,
Hmm.
the sky, and Milchick has a picture of an iceberg.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to figure out like what that means. I had this theory during while watching season 1 that Milkchick, I almost called him Milkshake. That Milkchick was secretly a good guy who wanted to take down Lumon. Now I think totally the opposite. I think Milkchick is mega sinister.
Yeah. He's not a good guy.
No. But I think that Cobel / Selvig could possibly have some more altruistic intentions. But I also think she has her own agenda.
Oh, for sure. There's this moment with Milchick. Let me find the screenshot where he's telling Dylan about the family visitation wing.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught it. It's not perfect in the screenshot. Here it is. But like he makes such a weird, sinister face.
Yeah.
Well, like it's you can't really tell that well from the screenshot, but it is so creepy, the face that he makes while Dylan is like still in awe over this, potential to like have visitation from his family.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something sinister about whatever that is and whatever. I definitely think he's like trying he's trying to find a way to hurt Dylan. Like I'm pretty sure he wants payback from Dylan G.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The crazy thing is, like, he told him that his wife's name was Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming that his wife's name isn't actually Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
And that they're going to have him meet his wife, and it's not going to be his wife. It's going to be just, like, some random lady named Gretchen that is in with Lumon,
You think that Gretchen knows that her husband's getting like quarterly waffle orgies? Like, do they agree to that? Like, is he gonna get like crabs from like what? Like, I can't remember any of the tempers what they're called right now, but like, how does that work? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
You mentioned Dylan's the only one who's not single. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
So weird.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that I'm super excited for episode 2 to see all the
Me too.
Stuff.
Me too.
I think it looks like there was a shot in the trailer of Cobel and Helena talking in a conference room. And it was clearly like right after the event or while the event was going on or whatever. It was, and I'm just, and that makes me think that Helena and Cobel might not be as pro Lumon as we think.
Interesting.
Because I'm just trying to imagine what they could possibly be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know. I think that Cobel / Selvig thinks that Lumon is an evil corporation who she wants to see get taken down. But I think that she targeted Mark and is using him for her own experiment to like figure out how she can use Severance to like basically reunite with her dead mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's pretty good.
And that's why she that's why she had Miss Casey there.
Mm-hmm.
Who's either actually Mark's dead wife or a clone of her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that when, because we see that Miss Casey comes back, do you think that she is going to be like a completely different person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so
do.
too. Yeah. I don't
That's a
know if
bummer.
I wonder if I don't know if they'll like refer to her by a different name, or like she could even have a different job. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, they're clearly done with wellness, so
Yeah.
they're just gonna have to have a different job.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I don't think that COVID. I don't think
COVID.
that they're anti-Lumen. I think that they're like violently pro-Lumen, but is like furious that they're not getting the access that they feel like they deserve.
Yeah.
Like I think Harmony thinks she is the best of what Lumen has to offer, and like it exemplifies the Lumen ideals, and she's mad that she's not being noticed for that. But also that was like the most basic explanation, so
Yeah.
it's probably more complicated than that.
Now, if you check out the Lexington letter, for those of you that have Apple devices, you can find it in the Apple Store. Otherwise, you can check out the episode that we'll be posting later this week for our Lumen deep dive. But there is some interesting Milchek insight.
Ooh.
Very interesting Milchek insight. Not to Milchek specifically, but somebody that he could be related to.
Ooh.
So super interesting. Like seriously, I can't get it. There's so much interesting stuff in here about like all the different.
It's not Dylan, is it?
No.
There's already friggin' theories going around that Milchek and Devin and Dylan are related. And I'm like, all black people are related.
Yeah.
We're not.
All black people are related.
Of course.
Yeah. It's Milchek and Dylan and Patton are from the black branch of the Egan family.
It's Elgin being Fatima and
yes.
and yeah, Fatima's son all over again. Like those are not like, not that black people in the same family can't have different skin tones, but those two black people are not related.
No.
Sorry.
No, not at all.
To be fair, it's TV's cast, and I blame the Cosby Show. With Bill Cosby having not one child that looked anything like any of his other children.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just
Speaking of Cosby Show, if you're looking for a good movie to watch, I highly recommend Black Box. If you haven't seen it, great movie. Felicia Rashad is in it. But it's a fantastic movie. I was obsessed with it. My husband came home early from work and like kind of interrupted my watching experience, and I was just like, I was like a junkie. I was just like waiting, like just anxiously waiting for him to stop talking to me so I could go back to watching the movie. It was really gripping.
Ethan Hawke in that?
No, he's not in it. It's
thinking of.
Yeah, I mean it's a mostly if not entirely black cast.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Felicia Rashad is in it. It's so good. It's super gripping. And if you like Severance, you'll like Black Box. It's there's a lot of similarities.
Interesting. Put that on my list.
Which, watching that and the season 2 premiere of Severance in the same week kind of screwed up my Severance theorizing, because I keep thinking about Black Box now, and it's kind of messing with my head a bit. So, okay, what's your take on Miss Wong? Why do you think there's a child there?
I don't know. Let me jump out and say who she isn't, and that is Mark and Gemma's child.
Yes. Yes. No, she is not Mark and Gemma's child.
Freaking possible. It's not possible.
No.
No. I kind of think she may be a clone of Gemma, like a advanced grown clone of Gemma. But whatever is going on with her, she's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
This little girl's a killer actress. She is so great. Her being like, no, Mark, we're not friends. I'm your supervisor. Like,
right?
Giving Patricia Arquette like so hard right there. I'm so intrigued by her.
Yeah.
And is she severed? Like, that would be so fucked up. I can't.
No. Well, they have that, like, the whole 9 collective in season 1 that was talking about how they're like trying to sever children.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. But you know what would be such a mind fuck though? Is if we found out that they have a way to manipulate time so that the selling point of Severance is actually like you send your outie or you send your innie to work for 8 hours a day, but you get those 8 hours back because like somehow, I don't know, time like runs differently there. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it would just be interesting if like, during that 8 hours that, but that wouldn't be the case though, because they actually have to get up and go to work and they're leaving at, they're coming home at a certain time of day and they're leaving at a certain time of day. So so no, but that would be such a mind fuck though, if they like figured out a way for time to run differently at Lumon. So they just like send their innie off to work and then they're not actually at work. They're just like, they're back at home. Which I have a feeling might be Lumon's next endeavor. And that's why they're cloning. And that's why they could possibly be cloning people. So they basically just have a bunch of clones working for them and people never have to hold jobs anymore. They just have their clone do all the work.
Man, if that were in slavery with extra steps, it would be so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm excited to talk about in our Lumon deep dive, like the different protocols and what they could possibly mean. We'll take a deep look into the employee handbook or the MDR employee guide. I'm so excited. There's so much interesting stuff.
The season's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be real good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm super looking forward to it.
So let us know in the comments if you think if you're on Team Helly or Helena as far as who's back in the office, and if you think that whether or not you think that Irving could possibly be back as his outie at the very end there. But I guess we'll find out soon enough, because if it's Irving's outie, we'll know. The thing is, though, he wouldn't be able to leave. He won't be able to he won't be able to access. So he would have to like, if he wants to stay there, if that's outie Irv and he wants to stay there, he's gonna have to like go and hide somewhere. And then he's going to start stinking because he's not showering.
Just like
he's going to have the same.
Oh, that's something we didn't talk about. Who do you think the guy in the hallway is?
Oh, yeah. I actually heard some theories that it was like a clone of Mark.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which I can't even wrap my head around that one. I thought it looked more like Grainer.
I thought it looked like Petey.
Yeah.
I
don't think Petey's gone for good.
I hope not.
I mean, obviously we saw him die.
Yeah. But they had television. Death isn't permanent.
Well, I mean, Milchick did say that they're protected from death at Lumon. whatever that means. But they have his chip. Do they also possibly have his body? I don't know. Could they make another Petey?
Likely.
Who knows? I mean, they could make a clone of him and then use his chip so he's the same person. I don't know. Like yeah, I don't know, man.
Same.
I need like I need like an Orphan Black Severance crossover.
I love Orphan Black.
Where like one of the clones is working at Lumon. And she's the one who
gotta be Cosima.
Yeah. And then she's the one who introduces the idea of cloning to Lumon. She's like, yeah, we should just start. You guys should just start using.
You ready
clones.
to write that spec script? Let's go. I am on it. Then we have 2 Helenas to deal with.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, that's right. yeah. We there can only be one. It'll have to be a Thunderdome.
A very short Thunderdome.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all know who's winning that one.
Helly Ardo, she's gonna get rolled.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
It's a wash. Sorry, Helly R.
So anyway, yeah, let us know what your theories are for the season. We may take a look at the trailer too if we have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see. I'll try to pull some screenshots from there since we didn't actually do a trailer episode. And guys, I'm sorry that we're recording this a little late and that we did not get to do our full season 1 recap of Severance. It's been a rough winter. Jazzy's in LA, so yeah. You guys know what's going on there. But you're at home and you're safe, which is good. But you had to leave for a little while.
We both had a terrible amount of illness to deal with in both of our lives, and it's been a rough couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like every time we tried to record, something would happen. We were literally getting ready to record, I think, right before the fire started.
Yep.
So I remember you messaging me saying like, the winds like knocked your power out.
We didn't record that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The winds were. I've never, not to like make this a Los Angeles podcast, but the winds were 100 miles an hour. Like,
so crazy.
Nothing like the power wasn't steady. The internet it was terrifying.
Ugh.
And it's starting to be really high winds tonight too, but hopefully after tonight it'll be over.
Oh man.
Like I say that, and then like the other half of the city burns down.
Oh God. So sad.
Yeah.
Really
I'm grief laughing. This is not.
Yeah, obviously.
It's anxious.
Man, like
it's been a winter.
The filming industry has been hit so hard in the past several years. It's just crazy.
There's less stuff filming now than there was during the strike. Like there is nothing filming. Fortunately, it's gonna pick back up. I'm not just saying this because I need it to happen, but California passed a bill that's going to raise our tax incentives, and I've already seen on the docket lots of stuff getting ready to start shooting right after that happens. So
good.
I have some faith.
Well, that's good. So obviously you've had a lot to deal with. I have just been hit with one sinus infection after another. I have one now, but it's really mild, which is why I'm able to do the episode. But I'm on antibiotics now, finally, so hopefully it won't come back. But I was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
It's like the first 2 were the sinus infections from hell. And now I'm doing okay. Like I've been talking for a while here, and like my voice is still fine. My throat feels okay. It's a little scratchy, but But yeah, it's been such a rough winter, man.
It really has. It
Like,
really has. I'm so grateful that like we ended from right in time for everyone's lives to just fall apart for several
yeah.
several weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Um,
and now we've got Severance.
yes. Yeah, and you know, and we're not Welcome to Dairy has been delayed. It's in post-production still right now.
Mhm,
So we don't know when that's starting up. So as of right now, we've got this. Obviously, we're going to be covering the rest of the season, and then we've got Yellow Jackets starting on February 14th.
mhm,
And we're gonna do a season 3 preview very soon for that too.
mhm.
Probably we're gonna shoot for trying to record that next week. So it's nice. We have a much easier schedule than our fall schedule, which is good.
Yeah.
We're kind of like we're easing back into it, which is great. Because going from the summer to the our crazy fall schedule was rough, man.
Yeah. No. Did you see that Teacup got canceled?
Yes, I did. I
It's a
did.
bummer.
Yeah. I
Go
we
look at our
weren't like
Teacup podcast, though. It was great.
yeah. Yeah, we weren't I mean we weren't like thrilled about recording a second season of that, but I liked the TV show.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. It
Yeah.
just didn't podcast well.
No, it didn't because they don't really give you a lot to theorize about,
Yeah,
you
there
know?
wasn't the mystery was solved very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, we forgot to do MVP LVP
Yes, you're right. We
before
did. And my
we yeah.
camera's moving again. All right. So who's your MVP? Who is well, let's start with LVP. Who's going in the break room? Who are you putting in the break room?
Hmm. Man, Mark W. I don't trust him. I love Bob Balaban. I'm so excited. I think he's the perfect choice to cast on this show.
Yeah.
And his effort, he was hilarious in this episode, but I don't trust him. I feel like
Yeah.
he's gonna give us a hard time this season.
Um
Well, the breaker's nice now, so
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
no.
we might have to find a different punishment. Um yeah. Well, we're going to have to find a different punishment for that, I guess. Um
um,
yeah,
MVP. Or do you want to do your LVP first?
I can't think of anybody for the LVP. I
Sorry.
like I feel like Milchick is just going to be a permanent one.
Yeah,
Um
he's the villain. Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll have to agree with you and just go Mark W.
he's up to something. He's suspicious.
Yeah. I know who my MVP is for sure. But why don't you go ahead and give
I'm
yours and
having
tell us what you're giving them?
um I think my MVP is going to be Bert. Um he's he it like it had to process so much trauma so quickly and like where
Oh, you mean
he
Irving?
ended. Oh, Irving, yeah. Bert's not, oh my god. Irving who was a different person. Um I just think of them as a unit.
Yeah. Irving.
Yeah, Irving. But yeah, Irving had to overcome so much trauma so quickly, and like waking up still thinking he's pounding on Bert's door, and then having to process everything. And everything he just kind of a scene between him and Dylan was
Yeah.
yeah, and he
I loved it.
gets he gets 15 creamers because that's what they gave us incentives when he first started. So.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um yeah, I am I like that. I like that answer. I am going with Mark S.
Yeah.
Like, I loved him in this episode so
Me
much.
too.
Like,
Me too.
I loved his little kitchenette distraction.
Yes.
Like, that was just fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
The way he delivered it was so great. Like,
the only reason I didn't go with Mark S is because I feel like he's going to be a lot this season.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because it was just so cool to watch him be so rebellious at work.
Yeah, he was really bringing in some early episodes Helly energy.
Yeah.
To the interaction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
He was,
like, this is the guy who Helly told to go lick a boot.
Yeah. His he was so like his performance was so intense, stressful. And the whole it was amazing. Props to Adam.
Yeah.
Great show. Yeah.
For sure. And and it's funny because like you just like you really want both of these guys to win for different reasons. Like you want Mark S to get his shit together and like stop like I don't know, try to live his best life and try to, not just be sad and come home and drink beer and until he passes out. Yeah. And you just want any Mark S to like, it's so great to see him rebelling because he's just such a likable guy and
absolutely.
And he just it's so refreshing to not have to reconcile that with like him being, such a company man. So it's so this is going to be a good season for Mark S.
It really is. He's bringing it. I hope Adam gets his, I hope he gets his Emmy this season.
Yeah.
Because he deserved it for the first season.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give him a music dance experience just so I can see his little Trump shuffle.
Defiant jazz. Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if he does that same dance, if he would do that same dance to all of the different kinds of music.
I feel like that's probably his only dance.
Yeah, I think so too. Or maybe a dance lesson with Milchick.
Milchick's got that funk. Oh,
Milchick's dancing was just like so entertaining.
I love that scene.
I know.
So good. Between like Milchick's dancing and Dylan's like slowly losing his mind.
Yes.
So perfect. So perfectly shot. Oh, that's something I wanted to say that I didn't get to say.
Yeah.
The camera work in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. Wow. That's not something that I feel like gets enough attention in a lot of things. And they worked the shit out of it, especially the opening scene with Mark coming out of the elevator and like looking around and the camera's like following his body up and down. Like, first of all, that's a huge pain in the ass to shoot. Yeah. That had to be so miserable, and it looks incredible. It looks so good. There was multiple times it was like whoever the director is killing it. Yeah, the director and the whole first teams, the whole camera team was that this episode was incredible.
Yeah. 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 By the way, Ben Stiller, who directed the episode, actually is directing 3, 4, or 5. He's directing 5 of the episodes this season. So about half of them. But yeah, and he's directing like, I guess the big ones because he's got the premiere and the finale.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about Goodbye, Mrs. Selvig next week. And and I have my theories on Mrs. Selvig too. Because we know that Lumon started as like a topical salve company years ago. And Mrs. Selvig always refers to that shop that she has. That sells, like, it sounds very kind of
New age.
apothecary-ish.
Yeah.
You know? Which makes me think that, like, she's been around for a while as well. And I think that there are two personalities in one body there. So yeah, we'll see. It's so hard for me to, like, figure out the intricacies of it, when it comes to Cobel and Selvig. It's tough. But I can't wait to talk about the Lexington letter, and it's going to be so great. If you have any insight before we record that episode, that any thoughts on the Lexington letter, leave them in the comments below, and we will read them when we record that. Otherwise, did you have? By the way, I also want to say I loved the music in the running scene.
Yes,
the music in the running scene was so great.
Loved it.
Did you have any other?
I think I got everything.
Okay.
There's so many things I wanted to talk about, but I feel like I got there.
All right. Well, we are recording this on a Monday, and it's going up on a Tuesday. We're hoping to get these out a little quicker going forward. We just we've had a lot going on the past few days. So we're hoping to get them out a little sooner, and we might start doing lives. We're still trying to figure everything out. But we will absolutely keep you posted, and I don't know, maybe we'll do like a live every other week or something. Maybe we don't even have to do one every week. We'll see. We'll play it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out and let you guys know. But we're really excited to cover the season, and we hope you will join us for them, and we hope that you will enjoy each of our episodes equally. Or we will deduct 10 points. And with that, we will see you guys later. Praise Kier.